the most expensive leadership gaps in a small organization is not a lack of effort, it's a lack of structure. Because even when structure is missing, managers still have to make decisions. And when they do, they default to what feels right in the moment. And that's where inconsistency creeps in. Inevitably, that inconsistency doesn't stay contained. It shows up in how people are treated, how issues are handled, and how decisions are explained. And before long, HR is no longer guiding the system. HR is managing the fallout. Welcome back. I'm Bridget C Lewis, and this is AI in HR, the RockstarBoss15, where we spend a focused 15 minutes working through one practical way to make HR easier and clearer and more effective for small businesses. And today, we're stepping into something that sits underneath a lot of what we've already built so far this season, and that's manager enablement. Let's walk through a situation that might feel familiar. Picture a mid-sized nonprofit, about 40 employees, with a strong mission, a committed team, and several high-impact programs. It's a busy Wednesday morning. In one of those programs, an employee is late for the third time this month. The manager handles it informally. She provides supportive conversation, but she does not document the incident. She means it to be encouraging, but she has not really established any clear remedies. On another team in a different program, the same issue has happened. In that case, the manager is more direct. She documents the conversation and follows up in writing to set the expectations. 2 weeks later, both employees are late again. One says, "It's really not that serious." The other says, "Well, it was for me because I feel like I'm being called out. This feels very inconsistent." Now, both situations land in HR. Same issue, same organization, but completely different stories. So HR now has to step back in time to reconstruct what was said, what was documented, and what should have happened in an attempt to bring alignment between the two approaches, all while operations are still moving. And here's what matters. Neither manager lacked care or commitment. They were simply working without a consistent way to lead. So let's be very clear about what manager enablement is and what it is not. Manager enablement is not another training session. It is not another policy document. And it's not about telling managers to just handle things better. Manager enablement is providing managers with a system that they can rely on in real time when something happens. It's a way to think through the situation, to communicate clearly, and to document consistently, and a way for them to know when they need support. Because when that system does not exist, managers will fill the gaps in themselves. And when managers are improvising, well, HR is absorbing the cost. So instead of asking managers to keep figuring this out on the fly, let's actually build that structure. We will review our prompt and how it is designed in practice. As always, our prompt is grounded in the 3-part Rockstar Boss HR snapshot, which are the company profile, the operational challenge, and the desired output. So let's take a look. At this point, you already know the setup. So we're going to move quickly so we can focus on what matters. At the top here, you can see the company profile. This simply anchors the AI in the reality of the organization, so everything that follows is relevant and grounded. The company profile does not make the decisions, but it does shape the relevance. So if it's vague, the output is going to be generic. Now, this section is where we slow down. This is the operational challenge. This is the most important part of the entire prompt because this is where the real problem lives. This is not where we describe what we wish was happening. This is where we describe what is actually happening inside the organization. If we're not fully candid in this section, the output will not be as useful or as supportive as we need it to be. And this is where most people tend to underwrite. They will say something like, our managers need support. And that's true. But what type of support? What's actually going on? Why do we feel our managers need support? We need to be specific. What's actually happening is this. There is inconsistent handling of situations across managers. Different approaches are being used to address the same issue. Employees are confused and HR is getting pulled in to clean things up after the fact. That level of clarity, friends, is what drives the quality of everything that follows. Because if this part isn't clear, then guess what? The output won't be clear either. Now, here's where the power of the prompt lives, in the desired output. This is where we stop asking for general advice and start designing something that is usable and customized for our environment. We are telling the AI how to think and what to produce. This is where our human superpower comes into play, shaping the output so it actually works in the real world. We're asking for a structured framework with practical guidance for the managers that they can use in real time. We're asking for clear guidance on what needs to be documented and when it should be documented. And very important, this is our additional power boost where we're requiring the AI to ask us clarifying questions first so that it's not guessing. All right. So now we see the structure. We've told the AI who it's working with and what's actually going wrong and what kind of support we expect. So now we can move from design to execution. All right. So as we review the output, the first thing we're going to look for are those clarifying questions because we asked the AI to return those at the top. Now, it's very important to pause here and review those questions. This is where the AI is seeking additional direction from us so that it doesn't make assumptions about our reality. This matters because without this step, the AI will jump to conclusions, and that's where generic output starts to show up, and in some cases, even hallucinations. So we always want to review these questions and respond to them. That's what allows the output to be refined and actually fit the situation. So let's check out the questions that it's asking. It's asking how managers are currently handling situations. It's asking about the HR environment. It's asking about documentation expectations. These aren't random questions. That's the AI tightening the context so that what it produces will actually fit our environment. So, of course, when you run this in your particular situation, you will take the time to read the output thoroughly. Now, as we move through the response, what we want you to notice is how it has structured everything, how it has organized the information. Notice that it sets a clear way for managers to think through the situation. There is language that they can actually use in a conversation. And there's also guidance on what needs to be documented and when. There's some clarity also about what needs to be escalated. This, my friends, is structured. This is usable, and this is not just information. In the real world, this is what a manager uses in the moment so that conversations don't become improvised. This is what prevents HR from being pulled in after everything has already gone sideways. And this is the most important takeaway from this entire process, friends. The output works because the input was clear, not because the AI is smart, but because we gave it the structure that it needed to produce something that actually works. What you saw today is not just a prompt. It's a practical way to equip your managers to act with consistency in real time. Strong managers do not guess their way through conversations. They're supported by clear expectations, clear language, and clear decision paths. When that support is in place, things will shift quickly. Consistency will improve, confidence will go up, and HR will stop operating in cleanup mode and start leading the system. If you want to apply this to your own system, keep it simple. Start with just one situation your managers deal with every week. Build the structure, run the prompt, refine it, and make it usable. That's how this becomes part of your organizational structure. Because, my friends, better systems build better workplaces.